What a performance it would be from the year for them. They've come together, they've worked quickly. It's a similar story to Team One, realistically. You know, they've got their org pickup, they've moved through APAC North Stage 3, improving every time. And it's just a real timeline of a story that we've got for them.
Same bands coming out of FaZe here as to what we saw in their game against BDS yesterday. The Hibana and the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie, very obvious reasons why. The Hibana maybe a bit less so. Lots and lots of hatches. She is the declared hatch queen by Ubisoft themselves. So no all surprise that we're taken away. The Capitao, do think it's quite an interesting one. Didn't see that really coming out. In fact, I lied. We saw it a couple of times coming out against BDS yesterday. Mainly used on the CEO site. So here, I think Mortar's looking to deny away the firebolts, the hard breach gadget, the smoke that comes out. Capitao, in my mind, an incredibly strong operator, and it is exactly why he has drawn a few bans throughout the group stages and playoffs so far. Lockers and CC, where we're going to start off our first site. DWG Kia are on the defense, and that is what makes me the most nervous, Tim. It's DWG Kia on defense. We've already seen how badly they beat FaZe back on the last map, starting out on defense.
Interesting sixth pick coming in there. If it sticks, Courted just teasing us at the minute, back and forward. But he was originally on the Chichanka. He's going to move on to the Vigil. So here on Bank, it's a big map. That's the first thing that we need to know about it, Des. They're going to be playing down in basement.
I'm just... Why are Yas and Rin, the normal entry players, playing Smoke and Legion? That is a massive cast away from what they'd normally do.
Because reasons.
Because reasons! Now, to some level, I'll give it to Yash. You can still, of course, roam as the Legion. You can chuck your mines out there as you're about and slowly work your way back to site. But Rin on the Smoke is one that has me not scratching my head, but I'm curious if nothing else. May well mean that you're going to see Rin playing here, sat on the blue stairs, hold. We'll do a little bit of site transformation to begin, but we'll go and sit behind a shield or something to that effect on blue. In fact, no, they haven't even got any shields, Tim. So again, now my curiosity has doubled. They have my attention, now they've got my curiosity.
The Vigil's going to be an interesting...
Oh, I got it wrong. It's the other way around. They have my curiosity, now they've got my attention. Don't worry about it. Crack on.
Absolutely ruined.
Crack on.
Absolutely ruined it. A disappointment to many, not to me though, Des. And that's what matters.
Oh, thanks, Tim. I know you've always got my back.
Courted on the Vigil, needs to be kept an eye on. And that's the difficulty, because his gadget will, of course, take him off those roads.
What is that?
That's your answer about Rindes. Rin's going to start us off with the SMG, gets the entry kill. Does it really matter what operator Rin plays? Because one way or another, he's getting those big entry kills. Cameraman pushing in now, does manage to find Rin. That's better from FaZe. They have to start getting them trades, Des. It was something that we saw a lack of when they were playing on Chalet. They just weren't trading out those kills quite often. FaZe, 3v5, 2 versus 4. They need to keep on top of that man count.
It's DWG Kia taking advantage of the fact that FaZe like to push from different sides of the map at the same time, where you'll have 2 or 3 players going for the main point of ingress, the rest pushing off solo, looking to take control of ground. The issue there, of course, being if you do get picked off by a would-be roamer there that you weren't expecting or simply can't win the gunfight against, there is no one to play for a trade. FaZe slowly working their way in here through the sewers and stepping in towards server room. No one on the side of DWG Kia really in a position to take a big challenge here. Look at most of them. They're either off-site, they're upstairs, they're playing off-bound and towards Gold Vault, one's on main stairs. FaZe could hit this site really hard. They kill Coated here, and you might well find DWG Kia is in trouble because, of course, the hatch isn't opened up. Yas can't do any work from above.
That's exactly it. If FaZe recognise this and move in, it's not going to be easy. You can see Souls is just having to bounce about here and try and get that exothermic charge to stick somewhere, which he has. It can be shot out if they can get an angle onto it. You could see the bullets coming through, but they weren't able to connect the shot, so that gives them access to site. And as you say, it's all going to be down to Yas here, potentially. He manages to get one, but Bullet finds Katsang, 3 versus 2. FaZe again doing a good job of trading.
Great nades!
Souls is going in. He's going to get the diffuser down. Des, round 1 is going in the favour of FaZe right now. If they can stick this plant, and they can, because it's bullets one after another. Des, he just finds them and cuts them down. Yas is back on site. He's got it all to do. 1 versus 3. What? 1 versus 1 after a quick double kill. Surely not Yas. He goes in. He has to think about just working on the disabled there. He's actually just trying to bait out the position. Des, he's got a man above. He's going to have to do something about this vertical angle, but he gets rid of the drone, clears out the information.
Got the angle.
He's going to try and use it again. Can Souls do anything about this? Yes, he can.
It's always squeaky bum time when Yas gets a couple of kills like that and you're just like, oh, surely not. Surely it can't happen. But Souls coming in, one of the support players that was highly rated by us, by many around the world coming into this as a prolific support player, and showing the composure at the dying second there. Rin being so cheeky peeking out. Again, it's one of those things where if you've got a drone to hand, you may well be able to find out what's going on by Rin. And Yas in open area, also undroned. So yet again, just as we saw back on Chalet, a couple of kills coming in for DAMWON Kia due to FaZe's misdroning.
Going to be going up to the top floor for round number 2, I think, as DWG Kia's defense will continue now. They're going to feel maybe a little bit hard done to there, Des. You know, what a great opportunity it was at the end of the round. But we can see Souls just in a real nice power position there. He knew that he had his angle. He was confident, even with the sort of attempt at a little bit of a long arm there, just trying to keep the distance between body and planted diffuser case. Still, Yas wasn't able to keep himself safe. So we head up to the top floor for round number 2. Already, we've got the deployable shield outside of stock. This is becoming a bit of a standard position. We've got Katsang reinforcing the elevator wall. I'd expect potentially to see one of those attackers try to open that wall, but it's only going to come down to Souls. That's the only hard breach they've got, Des. Usually you'd bring your ace to get it from distance on the rappel. That's what we've seen a lot of players do, so we could well see that foregone altogether.
I do like this coming out of DWG Kia as well, but they've now got the wall electrified and the hatch at the same time, don't forget, by sticking it inside of the elevators. Now, normally what you do is open up that double wall. It gives you the long angle straight down the white corridor and no defenders can play there. BDS's response to that yesterday was to have a shield actually facing towards that breach so they couldn't get the side angle. And I thought we might see DWG Kia do the same when they had the 2 shields on side, but they've just gone for the one and looked to play denial with the electrified wall.
Immediately then, the Gemini clone heading on in, looking for that mid-floor clearance at least. Cyber straight in through server and up the blue stairs. Absolutely no time wasted there. He's getting red pings on Yas, so they know that there is a man playing out around the teller's desk. Can Cyber get through there and get this opening kill? It's exactly what FaZe are needing inside of this game, Des, is to be taking a hold of rounds in the early phases rather than having to go in and get those trades. Now then, Astro just working his way up the white stairs as well, in a position to potentially support Cyber, but just dips back for the time being on the 0.
We spoke about it in the previous map a lot for FaZe. The issue was the intel gathering, the information holding, the flank watching, all these things that stung them in several rounds. This time, with the Jackal on side, with 0 in place, they had 3 members sat on drones a couple of minutes ago, well, a couple of minutes ago, about 30 seconds ago, in fact, just to give you the more realistic timeline. They are taking this a lot more seriously. They're making sure DWG Kia can't sting them on the flank and that all the information is in FaZe's hands. That's the way you're going to be able to beat DWG Kia here, is by choking them out of the map.
He sees the man. He sees the top of the helmet there as Woogieman just dips himself away from that challenge. Both of them getting pretty lucky there. Cameraman as well. There was an opportunity on both sides of that window frame. Astro, again, just sending another drone in, trying to get this information. As you said, Des, something that they were lacking a little bit on Chalet, but certainly this time absolutely throwing the utility at DWG Kia to try and find out where they are.
Souls got away with a really good plant yesterday against BDS by opening up the square wall, just charging his way in, and BDS had the unfortunate timing to not catch him running across. There's no pressure really coming in from lobby. There's no pressure coming in from the normal Kanto rappel that we're used to seeing. So Yas and Woogie here, they could look to try and challenge instead out towards east side, look towards square and do some damage here, because that's where a lot of the focus is. I think Cameraman's now looking to push his way in through the front entrance, so he could be a bit of a difference maker. He can apply that sideline pressure and keep the side of DWG Kia busy and occupied.
Cyber knew that Rin was there, manages to hit him on the flick, but he knew that he could be challenged from Janitor at the same side, but the timing just wasn't there for DWG. Astro is down but not out. Coated finds Cyber, so levels us up effectively in a 3 versus 3. Woogieman moving in from Banana here. He's going to catch one on the breach, but no, takes a ton of damage instead. Finds himself low health, finds himself cut down by Cameraman. 3 versus 2 now. It is in the favour of DWG effectively, as 2 are down but not out, and they managed to win it out. It was chaos at the end of the round.
Just Yas again going undroned. He was sat in the elevator the entire round. Cameraman, the one who comes on the flank from lobby, pushes up the stairs, wins the one gunfight, but doesn't know that Yas is in the elevator. Yas collects that kill, pushes up through front desk, and gets the closing kill. Of course, with the last 2 being down but not out, they were immediately killed down once the 3rd player had been taken out by Yas. It's becoming a theme that is, I want to say, infuriating in some ways. It's very frustrating to watch for FaZe when it's very clear what the problem is. They had the timeout and kind of fixed it on the last map, but haven't carried that through to bank. They need to get on top of Yas. We've said it time and time again, because he is just running amok here. And a drone or two in a good place, a zero camera, the Jackal tracking, whatever you might choose, you need to hunt him down and make sure he's gone.
Headed into round number 3 then, it is going to be down to the bottom floor we go once again. FaZe were able to win a nice attack onto this side. I feel that DWG were maybe just a little bit light on sight last time around. That was a big part of the problem for them. They sort of invited FaZe into servers almost, but then didn't really have an answer to deal with them once they were in there. As you say, the hatch above sight was closed off. Yas could not really have any impact, and it was pretty straightforward for FaZe to get that plant down. So what I'm looking for differently here in the DWG defense is having an impact on servers, having an impact on the plant location, not allowing FaZe to just come in and take control of that. Also, that mid-floor, if FaZe aren't there, they've got to get back down to site quicker to have an impact somewhere in the map.
It's interesting, because for most teams, and I think every team arguably, you'd agree, you'd say don't give up site control for free. What I've noticed more and more about DWG, the longer this competition has gone on, has been that retake game. We keep on speaking about the flank game coming in. They seem very, very comfortable when the attackers are scrambling for a post plant or even to get the diffuser down to come on the flank and make something big happen. And back at the start of the year, they do this an awful lot on Villa, for example. I can think of a good couple of games against, you know, Cloud9 at the time, then Mantis, then Sandbox, where that sort of thing just wouldn't work for them. But it really feels like they've mastered that retake denial style that is making them so hard to deal with. It's really interesting. Astro
now established inside of open area, going to be able to get that hatch open. So again, FaZe Clan working through the normal steps here. Stage 1 done. They're confident that they've got control over the top 2 floors of the map. So stage 2 now is about getting access into site, getting themselves in a position ready to execute. And that for FaZe includes trying to push onto these mid stairs, just trying to find Woogieman, who's hanging around on there. The Jackal track will pick him up. So Cyber now looking to get aggressive and finish this kill. Needs to find his man. There's damage in either direction, but Woogie goes down. Let's not forget, these players don't have the points and able to be unaware that he's necessarily downed him.
Got the cover.
Being very cautious there. Courted. Could be an opportunity to get Woogieman picked up here.
Oh, watch out for that hatch, mind you. There was someone that played on it a second ago, and I think there's one also pushing up through. Don't know, it's Gatsan coming in carriage. I just saw the outline and was like, oh, it's a guy. No. Woogie's back on his feet. Sure, down to only about 20 HP in this instance, and Cyber walks away with about 75. But what's the point in crying over spilt milk and a few numbers at this point? It's still a 5 versus 5. FaZe yet to really establish where they want this attack to go. They've got cameraman coming in through sewers. They've got a couple playing inside a square, 2 playing down towards main stairs, but in comes the drop. Bullets in, and Rin is still holding on blue. They did this so many times against BDS yesterday and slapped Alems out of blue every single time, and yet again, they are looking to be the masters at clearing out this blue stairs hold.
Great play from FaZe there. It really just puts a little bit of fire under this round, gets them heading in the right direction. Souls is in there on the thermite now. Opportunity to get that plant spot access that he so dearly needs now then.
Oh, camera!
A long shot from cameraman, puts on the teleportal lens test and takes down Courted. There's one down inside of the red corridor. There's an opportunity for FaZe and they need to take it. Souls straight in there, starts getting that diffuser down, will be successful. 2 down on the side of DWG. It's all up to Woogieman, low health, and cut down. The kills rain in, all 3 of them to Cyber, and FaZe take round 3 and put themselves 2-1 ahead.
Cameraman did so much work in that execute as well, opening up the single wall, not the thermite wall, the one that looks down through red, which normally is a death sentence. You'll have someone staring you back. There'll be smoke canisters. There'll be scopes staring at you. It's never a fun time, if not for the C4s also flying at your face. But he gets not just through red, but gets back into lockers, brings down the Tachanka, and DWG's whole strat was based around wasting 30, 40, 50 seconds with that Tachanka. It being shot out removes any chance they had of playing for that denial, and FaZe, very smartly so, get the plant down, close out the round, and in flawless fashion as well.
Great round from FaZe Clan, just again pushing DWG away from that bottom floor site. They've given it 2 tries, they're having absolutely none of it. They're going to go elsewhere now. Look at this from Cyber, just absolutely come out. He barely moved his feet, Des. He hits 1 in red, 1 in garage, 1 down by elevators. Absolutely unreal, as he has been throughout this tournament. It just continues. Cyber unstoppable in round 3.
And Bullet overall sat at 5-2. Think back to 3 rounds in on Chalet. He was 0-3. Unable to make an impact. Yet this impact he's having now is very reminiscent. I know I keep on referring back to it, but it feels very relevant because it was only yesterday. In their game against BDS, Bullet was the point man. The one doing a lot of work, finding a lot of entry kills and slapping BDS silly. I think every time it comes down to assaulting in towards servers, you're going to find Bullet's the one going through the drop, through the square hatch, and the one that's pressuring the blue player, normally after they've cleared out the supportive player that sat behind Stack. So keep a close eye for that on the next attack. For now, of course, stepping away to do things a little bit differently. I believe we're on an open area setup and an interesting comp coming out of DAMWON Kia, featuring that Oryx, the Castle, the Vigil, for example, and of course, the usual drone denial operators in the Mute and the Mozzie.
Number of players from DWG Kia up on the top floor roam, so it's going to be essential for FaZe Stage 1 this time is going to be get in there, get top floor control so that they can start working the verticality down into site. They need to force these players away. There's 2 of them up there at the moment, and they've also got Katsang just lurking around at the moment. I think he's inside of Archives potentially, and with a Nitro in hand, that could make him a real problem for a top floor clearance. So just something that, again, FaZe need to be aware of. As we can see, the clearance is starting to come in. Cameraman's coming towards main lobby. We'll try to push up spiral stairs, I would imagine, but he's going to have to contend with Rin, who's on the Oryx up at the top of there.
Same story again where they're looking towards these windows, not forgetting that this isn't the top floor site. This is just where they want to get inside the building, and they have done that successfully. Yas stepping out looking for Bullet, not quite able to find him there as well. Will slink away in towards Electric. Yas might find himself pinned in if he's not too careful. This really is where FaZe should be saying, right, we can cut him off here. They find Coated, not a bad start at all. Rin almost losing his life in the process, but it's still a good entry once again for FaZe. And there we go, the second one. Cameraman really stepping up, and I spoke about Bullet already. He makes it a third. It's down to Yas and Woogie to hold ground here, but this feels like a different FaZe that have stepped into Bank.
It just looks like a side does that understand the ebb and flow of the map here, whereas they look behind the pace on Chalet. Here, they know where the power positions are. They know where DWG Kia are going to be located, and they have the crossfires. They have the setup there at hand on the attack that wherever DWG Kia move, they get cut down. Woogieman and Yas got an awful lot of work to do now. Woogieman does start us off with a kill onto Cyber, but they're going to need to try and find 4 more. Yas is currently just on the main stairs, looking to again play spoiler here, hit them on the flanks, but even that Vigil cloaking device will not keep him off the drones as it wasn't activated. He does get spotted out. FaZe know now that he's down in the basement, so they can just try to hold those returns.
Just look at Yas, he's literally shot the drone out and disappeared to blue stairs. Going to run face first into Astro. They had no idea, and he's hit them with a double kill. He's literally full sprinted from stairway to stairway and got 3 kills back. Yas cannot be stopped. It's him looking for camera. He gets the 4K. What a shutdown by Yas, and what a slip by FaZe.
Absolutely unreal, Des. I called it. They saw him on the drone on main staircase. He went down. You gotta know at that point, he's in the basement. He could come up the blue stairs or the main stairs. It's the only 2 ways out for him. You can't have 2 players sat outside of electrical without focusing on those blue stairs, and Yas has just shown you exactly why. Just a little bit concerned there that FaZe have let him get away from them then.
I've said it so many times already on Chalet that I feel like a broken record. You've got a 0.
They were rushing to basement to try and kill him.
You've got a 0. You've got drones. You've got so much on side to deal with these potential flanks coming through. I know it's a Vigil, but you can see him full sprinting. You see the blur on the screen. You see him shoot out a drone. There are so many ways that you can stop Yas from doing the same thing time and time and time again. And it feels like no one here at the Major has really learned that lesson yet. That was a clutch, sure, it's a big 4K, but it's not just this round he does it in, it's why he's so consistent, is he keeps on getting away with that, and I will give him full praise as well. This is unbelievable game sense on his side to know what he can and can't get away with. If he was just running around every single round trying to do that and dying every single time, that's a lack of game sense. It's the fact that he does it so consistently and doesn't die out when he doesn't need to that proves it's different. He was, what, 11-2 at the half on the last map? He's 9-2 here already? What is going on?
I don't know who it was that died at the top of blue for FaZe. I missed it in all the chaos that was going on. But
Astro.
Was it Astro?
Yeah.
You know, you've got to ask questions there. Astro is full sprint into the top of blue there. And granted, it was decisive play from Yas to move so quickly over to blue stairs and to so confidently head up them. But you just look at it and you think, Astro there is thinking, I need to get an angle onto the bottom of blue stairs, but what if he's already on the stairs, Des? That's what was not considered there, and it is those fine margins that can cost us. Now then, the round is done. We move on. FaZe, they need to get themselves away from the mistake. They need to move on. We saw the player cams in between. There was a little bit of sort of heated discussion, I think, going on in the FaZe team. They certainly know that they're back to the wall at the minute, and Cyber, he's going to try and push away from that wall for the time being. He's pushing up the main stairs on the Jackal, looking to get another opening kill for FaZe.
Okay. Again, the information is present. They can hunt down these roamers. They can pinch on them. They did it against BDS. There's no reason why they can't do it against DAMWON Kia. Souls, on the drone at least, is keeping a close eye as to what is going on just in front. Rin, with a little bit of support from White Stairs, they'll find themselves a drone going down. What does get me a little bit nervous is we're already down 5 drones, and we're less than halfway through the round. This is again why in the late round DAMWON Kia can be so effective, is if there is limited information, they know they can play around that. And this is where counting how many drones you're killing comes into it. Bullet finding Yas, the man we've been speaking about time and time again, gets himself involved in an entry engagement and loses out. That's one less worry off FaZe Clan's mind.
And boy, did FaZe need to stop worrying about Yas, because he really has been cutting them in half, both on Chalet and here on Bank. So having him off the board, that's going to be a big mental boost. We look at the rest of the scoreboard. There's only 5 kills across 5 rounds for the entirety of the rest of the side of DAMWON Kia at the minute there. So in this round, for them to win it, somebody else is going to have to step up, whereas FaZe now have the opportunity to start mounting the pressure. But it's Woogie Man. We've seen him get big kills time and time again today, and he gets himself a second. Woogie Man, this just isn't fair at the minute. DAMWON Kia, they just have the answer to every question that FaZe asks. It's like they've seen the test ahead of time, Des. They are just reading FaZe Clan like a book.
Do they know about Katsang in elevator? They must have seen him run inside here. They've got Rin on one side, Woogie holding off to the next. Coated finds the finish off. Rin comes to the swing and finds one, can't quite find a second. It's masked by the smoke, but in comes Katsang, and it's a closeout. Just completely shut down on the main stairs. It's looking great for DAMWON Kia the last couple of rounds. And again, when we find FaZe being caught out early on in rounds, things just fall apart from there.
They're falling apart quickly for the Latin American side right now. They are struggling, even on one of their best maps, to get themselves into the game here. We really thought that if FaZe were able to play Bank against DAMWON Kia, given the limited experience competitively of DAMWON Kia on this map, that FaZe should be taking it away. But I think what goes to show here, Des, is DAMWON Kia have really done their homework here. They've been putting in the time. Fresh has mentioned it a couple of times. We've discussed the map pool and the concerns to DAMWON Kia. They have been grinding in the background to make sure that they can be competitive in the best of 3s, maybe even in the best of 5 tomorrow.
Well, they're going to need that, aren't they, for the best of 5 when it gets to, if it gets to that point. FaZe still yet, of course, not out of it. But it sparks to me one thing I've just seen, the more and more I watch them play again, they don't try and play someone else's playstyle. It was an interesting conversation on Twitter yesterday between a bunch of NA players, and I believe Intero was involved in the mix as well, in saying that a lot of NA teams will play so heavily for the counter-strat and don't focus so strongly on their own game. For DAMWON Kia, I don't see counter-strats. I see the same stuff round in, round out, where it's Rin and Yas looking for engagements either in the very early or the very late stages of the round. The rest of them playing around site and looking to do work. Woogie occasionally moving away from being a defensive player to joining them on that roam. And it is such confidence in their own play that is resulting in games like this, where they look light years ahead of some teams because they're just so good at what they do, and teams are yet to adapt to it. We thought back at Mexico that APAC had been all figured out. People were used to seeing the same stuff out of DAMWON Kia, out of Cyclops Athlete Gaming. Apparently they haven't quite seen everything, because this is one hell of a show.
It's going to be the final defensive round for DAMWON Kia. Then round 6, they're going to be heading back down to lockers. Des, this is the site that they haven't been able to get locked down. FaZe, in 2 attempts, have won it twice. They've always been able to find a way on the attack. If DAMWON Kia, however, can overturn that trend, then they get themselves an advantage going into the second half. Losing drones already on the side of FaZe. We're down to 7 as they send them in, and DAMWON Kia again doing a great job of shutting down that information game. But FaZe making good time, Des. 40 seconds into the game, they're getting the hatches open inside of open area. They've got themselves a little bit of map control. They don't know about Woogieman on the main stairs. Astro pre-fired it a little bit, but they just didn't expect the aggression, Des. Cyber had that same battle with him previously. They know that's where he's playing, but Woogieman just doesn't care. Steps out, gets himself the kill. DAMWON Kia are just cruising right now.
Look at what worked from round 4 onwards on Chalet for FaZe when they were on the attack. They slowed things down. They droned things out better. We got to one round where it was still 5v5 at 30 seconds left. I don't feel there's ever room for a round to breathe between these two teams because FaZe go looking for the fights, DWG Kia more often than not win them out, and it leads us to where we are now. They've at least got the focus coming in onto Square here and getting this one opened up. Drone work will come on through. You're going to see that infamous bullet drop coming through at some point, but I don't believe there's anyone playing on the blue stairs in this instance. So here we go with their focus coming in on the server side. Cyber has got the hatch. You can see the pieces of the puzzle all coming together for FaZe, but DWG Kia are never a team to roll over and die.
Absolutely not. Drones once again rolling in for FaZe, looking to get themselves the access they're going to need. We saw the work that Cameraman did from these Maverick calls previously, got himself nice control over the far side of site where Coated is playing now, but he's learnt his lesson, Des. He's playing this from a prone position instead of putting his head above the parapet like he did last time. Now, out goes a nade from Cameraman. Not going to have any joy, not going to find anybody.
Right, where is Yas? That's my big question because we're looking towards the execute coming in, and he's the one who wants to try and make a flank happen. C4 comes out, Souls is found, Cameraman has been downed. They're stopping this attack this time round, Tim, and Bullet's going to be able to get him back up, but only just 3 versus 3 and less than 30 seconds to play.
FaZe have got to find a way. It's as simple as that. They don't want to be heading into this second half behind. They've got a drone inside of sight, so they know what's going on. The opportunity is there to get the diffuser down. Bullet steps in, grabs a hold of the case, and starts to plant it. Coated just wildly firing out those Shumiker charges, trying to do anything he can to disrupt the plant, but will not be successful. And FaZe start to cut DWG down where they stand. They could level this up 3-3 at the half. It's all up to Coated. He's on the Tachanka. He's got 2 kills to find and a limited amount of time to do it. There's one inside of each site. Des, he goes to find the first, gets him. The second is now on that angle that we saw last time around up on the hatch. 11 seconds for him to do something about this. Very unlikely that Coated can make this work. If there's a drone on him feeding information, that's what Bullet is waiting for. He hears the noise, he gets in, and still it's a tight 1v1 as DWG Kia fighters right down to the wire. But FaZe managed to tie things up 3-3, and what a war we've got.
Much better from Bullet dealing with Yas on the flank that time round. Again, leaning into what I said earlier on, that DWG Kia seem very happy playing for the retake, hitting them on the flanks, either in the early round or the late round. And that one from Yas, just a little bit late. I forget the player that we referenced earlier on that felt they often did the same. I want to say maybe it was Yas, it could have been someone else. We said someone else tends to leave it quite late for the flanks. Yas there, maybe a little bit too late, because by the time he did make the appearance, the diffuser was down. They were already pulling all the way back. It wasn't really a big issue. I think he was trying to ride on any chaotic kills that came through, and a couple did connect. Their Cameraman down. Souls was taken out by the C4 whilst he was going in for the plant. But either way, FaZe find themselves at a 3-3 half split. It's not the dream for them, but I'd say to take 3 attacking rounds isn't bad, given that before this game, their attacking win rate on this map was 80%. Their defensive win rate, 50%. If we stick to how the defenses have gone so far, overtime is abound. But DWG Kia have already shaved a few percentage points off that attacking win rate that they had before.
FaZe coming in on the defense now then. The first site we're going to see is open area. FaZe need a good start to this second half. They know that they are up against it now. DWG Kia running them close on bank already. I would expect FaZe, on a good map for them, to be able to come in and show us a little bit of a masterclass on the defense here. This is where the difficulty should ramp up for DWG Kia, Des. FaZe should be out there on the roam, making their lives a nuisance, trying to hold on to that top floor for as long as possible. They've sent players straight up there. That's what I would expect. We've got Cameraman as well, bringing the castle along. Just, again, trying to make movement, trying to make it difficult to get around the map and to hold down areas.
Hey, there we go. Rin being taken out at the start by Astro. Great starting point. I was going to touch on the amount of hard breach gadgetry brought along by DWG Kia, the Thermite, the Maverick, the 2 hard breach charges coming along for the buck as well. just suggests they want to get a lot of work done in opening up all these reinforced walls. The one inside of the admin office, the ones at the top side of open area, for example, staffing room, lots to look at there to be opened up. And that means for FaZe, it'll be the denial game. And for a great start for that denial is to shut down Rin, who admittedly not having the best game so far. 2-7 has not been the knockout performance that we were all expecting.
It hasn't. FaZe at the moment, they are pretty widespread around the map. They don't really feel any restrictions, it doesn't look. They're out there, they're on the hunt, they're trying to catch DAMWON Kia out and see if they can find anybody at all. Cyber all the way down in basement, for example. Bullet playing down there as well, and then DAMWON Kia now managing to get themselves established, at least partially, up in the conference room for the time being. They've got the Book of Cats up there, so can start opening up some vertical angles down towards these FaZe clan players. But with half of the round gone by, FaZe doing pretty well so far. I think just keeping themselves set. They've got themselves sort of pushing towards that late round phase for the defense now of, we've done our own, we've wasted a lot of time. Now we start thinking about just playing those little rat corners. Cameraman in elevator there. He's just waiting for his moment. He's waiting for this time to burn down and DAMWON Kia to get desperate.
The know that he's up here is the other thing about it, right? But you've got a couple of members where you have Cyber playing at the bottom of the main stairs. Cameraman was inside the elevator, has now dropped away. They've just poked at Coated, let him know that they are there, that they are present, and they need to be respected. That's why grenades are being committed onto that main stairs. Nothing to be found, of course, as both members have already dipped away. So it's fire and move from the side of FaZe. They've kept all five alive, and this is a great round for them so far.
It is unsuccessful on keeping the exothermic charge from detonating, but it's not going to matter. As Katsang gets taken down, Woogieman goes with him, and Coated as well. And all of a sudden, like a house of cards, Des, that DAMWON Kia attack comes tumbling down as FaZe just find one kill after another, close out the round, and they get themselves an advantage. They've gone ahead on the scoreboard, Des.
Fantastic defense out of FaZe. Really cannot stress enough how good that was. And I think this is where I thought on the first map we might see DAMWON Kia come undone a little bit. Is on the defensive side, Yas can be a solo operator. If he wants to go off and flank in the late round, that's fine. He can do that by himself. The attacking side of a map, you tend to need to play a bit more as a team. There is gadgetry you need to burn through together, like magnets and ADS. It requires you pushing in for trades, one-on-one, for example. You can't really be, I mean, you can play the lurk if you want to, but I just don't feel it's going to be anywhere near as effective on the defensive side playing into FaZe than what it was back on the attack. That is disgusting, by the way. Rin's just like, where was he? Genuinely would not have seen him from a mile away.
This is a little bit of a risk for DAMWON Kia now. If FaZe can have a good second half here on Bank and they start finding them shots, that confidence, and it leads them into a map win and into Oregon, DAMWON Kia are then arguably playing FaZe at their best. When they're confident, when they're winning gunfights, that could be a little bit of an issue for them. But DAMWON Kia, I'm sure, of what they've shown us today, what they've shown us throughout the 6 major here in Sweden, I am sure that DAMWON Kia are well and truly prepared for that. They've been able to deal with everything that's been thrown at them so far. Now, interestingly as well, Des, this is the first time so far today that FaZe actually see themselves ahead on the scoreboard.
Yeah. It's scary when you think about it that way, right?
I mean, hands up who'd have thought that that would be the case halfway through map 2. And if anybody's got their hands up at home, I'm going to have to, you know, I think you're bluffing me.
Rin's been slapped off 2 rounds in a row for free. Doesn't even get to contribute to the attacking side. And on this one, maybe a little less important. For example, they've got 4 frag grenades they can use to get rid of the shield that Souls has got in back pocket. But that Zofia is still valuable. It's still a gun up. The LMG can do a lot of work. Just keep on spraying, hold down left mouse button, and hope someone walks in front of the crosshairs. But not doing the team any favors at this point where we criticize FaZe for the same thing back on Shelly. We've got to do the same for Rin here. Calm it down on the entry into the building. It does not need to be a 15-second engagement. It can be a little bit slower. Yas finding Cyber on the run across from Stock, bringing things back to a 4 versus 4.
Yas looking to be that catalyst that DAMWON Kia needed, that he's been so often throughout the tournament and today as well. 12-5 he stands at the minute and gets a nice kill there just to level things out. That's not going to be the end of the world for FaZe Clan though. It's one of the roamers that has been lost. Cyber, he's not really needed for sight at this point in time. You know, we've got the nitro down there with Cameraman. They've got the utility that they need. What they don't want to do is throw away anybody else now. FaZe have pretty much fallen themselves back to sight. They're waiting for DWG here to try and push on in. Cameraman's going to stay aggressive out in servers for the time being, not make it easy for them to push down there, looking to just burn a little bit more time.
It's interesting how we haven't really seen the Thatcher being brought along at all, by the way. Like both teams just saying, you know what, Maverick, we feel is probably going to be enough. Of course, negating the Kaid entirely, that is left on the field, so it does make some sense where the Maverick would be better. Of course, frag grenades also on side. More hard breach gadgets for you and I to enjoy. Woogie, separate man pushing here off towards square stairs, and Cameraman will know that this is part of the game plan, but it could well be a bait, because for much of DWG here, their focus is off towards main stairs. It's out towards elevator. They're not really interested, by the looks of it, in going for a blue push. So keep a close eye on where the actual execute comes from, because DWG here might just completely change this up in the last 30 seconds.
Astro was playing at the bottom of main stairs in towards garage in that little space in between, but he's actually just been forced away in towards red stairs. So DWG here's avenue is open now to be able to push down that way and towards elevators if they want, with maybe a little bit less of a challenge. The hatches are getting opened. It looks like FaZe are aware of this, but this could be an interesting final 30, Des.
Yeah, Coast is doing his own thing over here, which is okay, but I'm not sure what the whole game plan is. You got Katsang looking to push his way up through garage and hopefully catch the members by surprise. Woogie has dropped into elevator. One's come down main stairs. These two lines are about to converge on each other. It's a 4 versus 3 for FaZe. There's only 5 seconds to go. Katsang stepping his way in, but they're not sure where the men are. They're trying to step in. Yas finding one back but getting himself sorted out. Surely in a second, no. The clock hits 0. DWG here leaving that a little bit too late. The idea was nice, but the clock waits for no one.
As you say, it was just too late. I don't think DWG here were confident in what they were trying to achieve either. As you say, Coated was a little bit off on his own, just trying to disrupt red corridor a little bit. The nades going in there, but it didn't massively support the push coming in from the main stairs, because red corridor is not really where your problem is in that sense. The problem was Cameraman stood at CCTV door, who gunned 2 of them down nearly. He got 1 kill and then took a serious chunk of damage off the other. And it's also the smoke that's playing just outside of the vault, you know, outside of the elevators in that space in between. Those were your 2 problem players, and they didn't really do anything to disrupt them or to move them around. So FaZe were just able to pretty much hold on to the spots that they had. You can see there the angles that they're using. Katzan gets himself 1 inside of sight, but they just spent so long trying to push from the main stairs into those areas, getting challenged, that they didn't have the time that they needed.
Understandably, a tactical timeout coming in from DWG here. They are down 5 and 3. This map not quite going the same way as Chalet did. Really unable to get their attacks moving just yet. FaZe are on 2 rounds in a row. We've seen a couple of teams employ the tactical timeout after a couple of rounds, and things have been going very wrong, and clearly corrective action is needed immediately. It's better to use it early than to use it late. And in this spot, I think we can see that hopefully there will be some changes coming in. The round is getting back underway, and Katsang initially is hovering over the Monty. Now, I don't think they'll want to show that one immediately. I imagine that could get 6 picked away if they stick into it, which actually looks like they are. There's going to have to be some changes to the lineup for potentially both sides to make this one work. A Warden coming in for Souls and Woogie Man. Now, there's something a little bit different from hard support over to Creeper, playing on the Nook. This could be very exciting.
Attackers need to locate.
It could be. Let's keep an eye on it. Up on the top floor, I don't know how much impact that knock is going to have. You know, where are you going to creep in realistically?
Oh, lobby, watch.
Maybe creep through lobby and up spiral, but the reason that
later in the round,
my expectation is that FaZe will be ready for that. You know, my expectation is that FaZe will be watching out for a west-sided push as well. And I know, yes, you might not then see the knock on the cameras, but I would expect they'll have somebody playing around elevator potentially. We'll see how it goes. But they've also got the ace, which is good and could help Woogie Man. Coated gets on the rappel, opens the elevator.
I never even thought about that. You say your name very differently to how I might.
Do I?
I say ace, and you say...
Well, you say ace. And
what is that imitation?
Ace.
Ace.
And I say
ace.
I'm just doing what you do to me on laser gates, you see. This is my frustration when you say laser gates.
That's how you say it, though.
Okay, so Coated is probably going to use the ace to get himself up on the rappel and open up that elevator wall, which, if they can push the player away from elevators, then yes, Woogie Man may have a little bit more joy sneaking his way in through lobby unseen. We'll see how it progresses. It's going to be an interesting attack from DWG here.
You are now ears of pyrite to me for the rest of the day. So 30 seconds into the round, Rin, thankfully, does not find himself dead. That's how the last couple of rounds have gone. I imagine part of that attack pause conversation was, Rin, stop dying, okay? Great coach contribution, that's all that's required. Cheers, coach. Let's get back into the game. Now, in all seriousness, I imagine there's a bit more than that being discussed, which is why we're seeing the Monty and the Nook coming out as spicy little picks coming in. Funky picks, you might want to say, coming in for the side of DAMWON Kia. Where does Monty opts to push is going to be the interesting one for me. Does we look towards something like coming in down on Square? Do we try and force the Monty up through Lobby? There's going to be options. I'm just looking towards Souls and Bullet, though, who currently are playing more out towards that west side and Banana and Elevators. Where we saw Yas sat earlier on, and the damage that he did was very, very obvious. Katsang, indeed. Square is going to be the point of entry, essentially negating much of that lobby side setup from FaZe.
The whole push at the minute is Square. That's the only side that they've moved in on. In fact, Des, there's been absolutely no droning over on main lobby side, so don't expect to see DAMWON Kia going over there anytime soon. They've got themselves established, they've got the breach open, access to the plant spot is gained, so they can start thinking about getting in there and getting the plant down. But they're going to find themselves coming into the lines of sight of FaZe, and those are the gunfights that they're going to have to win, because as you can see now, FaZe, they've shaped up differently, Des. They've all started turning their backs on the main lobby side. They're focusing down towards towards east side, and they know that that is where the push is coming from.
It's about the time for me, though. We're into that last 60 seconds, and DAMWON Kia have only just about got started with their setup. Yes, they've got Square. They've started opening up a couple of walls. Rin is lurking inside of stock. Cyber has already challenged into here once or twice, but not quite found the man. If he gets this kill here, it could be huge, but the plant was going down. Woogie having to back out again. It was unfortunately smoke canister after smoke canister has rained through. Can't vault back out of CEO. Drops the diffuser inside of the office, and now Kotan has got to be the one to pick up the pieces. Astro coming close. Katsang still staring things down, but the Monty yet to really have a big impact in this round, Tim.
That's a pretty big impact as the Monty just eats those shotgun bullets, but Bullet Souls managed to find kills of their own. Katsang super low health here, needs to be very careful. There is still the smoke on the table, but if they've been counting, they'll know that all the toxic babes are gone, so he's at least safe from them. 5 seconds left to go. Katsang down, the round is over. This is another one for FaZe Clan as they take themselves onto match point, and every breath that we pass through in this map, Des, looks closer and closer to a decider between FaZe and DAMWON Kia.
Doesn't it just? Even after attack pause, DAMWON Kia still can't solve their clock-related woes. It's again stepped into a stage where they've brought a Monty, they've changed things up and brought along a Nook, and still can't play to the clock, even with a very simple push coming in on the Square side. They just found themselves a little bit squared out. We're a little bit waiting for others to get themselves in position, and that's all that clock reduced down to 0, and FaZe just had to sit and wait.
DAMWON Kia did nothing to disrupt the defense of FaZe.
No.
So FaZe there at the end of that round were pretty much in the same positions that they were at the start of it. And that's a problem for you, because naturally, what do defenders do? You look at setting up a site and you think, right, the ideal position on this site for me is here. If you don't get moved from there at any point, you're holding your power position. You're holding the spots that you want to, and DAMWON Kia just didn't do anything to impact even one player, Des, coming in from lobby. Just one singular player could have shaped that round a little bit differently. I'm not saying it would have been the complete answer, but what it would have done would have been taken a lot of attention from Bullet and a lot of attention from Souls, who were playing over on that west side, in case there was a push from there. As it was, towards the final minute, what happens to those guns? They just start looking down towards east side. So Rin, yes, gets the kill onto Cyber, but Souls has been then looking over Cyber's shoulder, so the line of sight is still held. It's still there. It's fine. They can't cross over from stock. Bullet, all he does then is hop out of Banana and just has a look down the line of sight onto the breach. They didn't do enough to disrupt that west side.
I just love the variation in playstyle we've seen across the two maps so far as well. You know, think back to FaZe playing a really heavy retake style strategy, especially on Bar and Gaming back on Chalet. Here and in Basement, they've just played turtle-based compositions. It's a real nice stark contrast, showing that varied playstyle that keeps a team difficult to predict for in some ways. And for DAMWON Kia, very effective at attacking on Chalet, very decisive. On Bank, very indecisive. That means Oregon is anyone's guess with how it plays out, but we knew this map was going to be a weird one for DAMWON Kia again. Only played it 3 times, only in best of 3s, and not once in those best of 3s did they pick to go to. It's definitely not in their wheelhouse.
I'm so excited.
I can see you bouncing around like a rabbit behind me. It's not Easter. Settle down.
I'm just so excited because I think that we are going to be going to a map 3. It's looking that way.
It deserves it,
I'm not writing it off yet. DWG Kia, are they capable of winning this? It won't be easy. Of course, they've got the ability to do it. It looks, for the money at the minute, like FaZe are probably going to lock this down. They've just been so confident on the defense stairs. DWG Kia unable to get around as of yet, and FaZe just reading into what the attackers are going to do.
It is in the tango. Honestly, these two at the top, Bullet at the top of stairs, and Rin, they've done it all time round, but yes!
It was the last tango!
Critical frag grenade coming in, removes the man that has been a terror. He is 15-6 for FaZe, and he's been shut down. A 5 versus 4. If DWG Kia are going to find an attacking round and get Bank underway, this is the round to do it.
Perfectly placed nade into the top of blue, and just showing a sometimes overlooked skill there, Des, of just absolutely nailing the time of it. It was practically an impact nade. As soon as it went through that door, it exploded and just lit Bullet up, completely removed him from the map. 5 versus 4, DWG Kia, Des, the problem's going to be the time again. 2 minutes taken, need to start getting themselves towards an execute with time to spare. FaZe aren't going to be scared at being one man behind, and they're going to fight tooth and nail for this round and for this map.
It's a little bit single directional as well. Coated, Yas, a couple of other members scattered here out towards square, and that clearly is what their focus is going to be. They need to get this off open wall opened up, and Cameraman finds Coated, already a shutdown they wanted, and Woogie finds the exothermic taken away by an Impact. Astro strikes at the same time onto Rin, that's why those words got crossed over. Wall finally opened up, and Cyber looking to actually contest out, pushing in quite aggressively here, looking for a man on the outside, but wrong sort of idea. I don't know if they know about this one. Cyber finds one, Katsang another, and surely DWG Kia are going to find themselves choked out of this round. The smoke is down, one more, hits the deck, and it's left to Katsang on the outside. Him and 10 seconds is not going to go well together. Cyber hits the deck, finds the spray down. We're going to map 3.
FaZe Clan coming in and seeing their investments really pay off on Bank as they managed to nail down that second map, and they're taking us all the way to Oregon, Des, and they're taking a lot of momentum with them.
It would have been a travesty if APAC's first semi-final at a major didn't go all the way to 3. I'm really glad that FaZe, though, are not doing themselves a disservice. They're keeping themselves competitive. Bullet, 15-6. Yas, 14-6. They are neck and neck, and we were speaking about Cyber. This is a bit different because now Bullet's in the mix as well. This is where Rin really needs to step up in map 3.
Somebody's going to have to, on both sides, potentially, as you say. You know, you can't keep relying on that one player on each side to just keep battling with each other. That's going to be the difference maker. If somebody else can come in and grab a good chunk of kills, they might just power their team towards the grand final. I can't wait for Oregon.
We're licking our lips at the prospect of this one. Grab yourself some popcorn, whatever else you might need, because this is going to be a show, and the tickets have sold out, and you guys are the ones that get to enjoy the festivities. We'll go over to our desk to break this game down. We'll see you guys for map 3 very shortly.